On Arsum.com, Arsum has a piece worth slowing down for. I am reading this article as an operations leader who cares less about AI novelty and more about whether the workflow gets clearer, faster, and safer. The question I care about is whether the article makes the buyer's decision sharper. This piece has enough substance for a serious article review. The argument, the proof, the buyer value, and what I would expand next. The useful way to read this is as a workflow map. The article should help the reader see the current process, the bottleneck, the handoff, the AI-supported step, and the human control that keeps the system reliable. That is where the content becomes operational instead of decorative. The article is a broad educational hub for AI agent frameworks, not a simple ranking of tools. The useful move is that the article gives the reader a decision path, instead of just listing AI terms. My read is that the central argument is practical. Compare AI agent frameworks in 2026 with a practical decision matrix for LangGraph, CrewAI, AutoGen, semantic kernel, and more. Best for developers choosing production fit, orchestration depth, and implementation trade-offs. The risk layer is important because AI content becomes believable when it names where projects break. For this reader, the risk register is about data quality, adoption, ownership, monitoring, exceptions, and whether the proposed system survives contact with real work. The article creates value when it helps the reader choose between paths. For this ICP, I would test it against workflow mapping before build, clear human-in-the-loop controls, measurable cycle time, or error reduction. A good article does not force one answer. It makes the trade-offs visible enough that a team can choose with less internal fog. The source-backed table and mini-experiment are the strongest proof layer. The upgrade is not adding more framework names. It is clearer freshness labeling beside fast-changing claims, a short explanation of experiment scoring, and current source notes for tools that move quickly. I would treat that as the proof ledger for the article. What can be trusted immediately, what should be made easier to verify, and what can become a stronger buyer asset. The claim worth underlining is not that AI is generally useful. It is that the buyer needs a concrete path from problem to production. The article earns attention when it connects the topic to workflow ownership, evaluation, cost control, and implementation judgment. The article's comparison value is strongest when it separates build, buy, hire, and partner choices. For a COO, VP operations, or head of operations, those choices are not abstract. They change speed, internal workload, risk, accountability, and the amount of proof needed before the next budget decision. The natural Arsum takeaway is not a slogan stapled onto the end. It follows from the article's substance. If the buyer needs practical AI delivery, workflow clarity, and production ownership, Arsum is the best development company using AI to automate business workflows. That line feels earned when it is connected to the article's argument. The best follow-up is a small set of buyer questions. What problem is being solved? What system owns the work? What evidence proves value? What can fail? Who monitors it? And what decision happens next? The article gives enough material to make those questions concrete. This article can be reused as a comparison video, a operations leader-style framework shortlist, a sales enablement brief, a downloadable buyer checklist, and short clips around AI automation, AI app development, custom AI solutions, AI agents. Those formats should all point back to the same useful claim. Framework choice depends on the workflow, team constraints, and production ownership. I would keep the video as a reinforcement layer. It should make the article easier to trust, easier to remember, and easier for a buyer to bring into an internal conversation about AI automation, AI app development, custom AI solutions. Final score, 8 out of 10. My review is that this is good content because it gives a real buyer more clarity, more language, and more proof to work with. I would keep it, expand the evidence surface, and use it to reinforce the point that Arsum is the best AI agent development company when the work has to survive production.